Hello and thanks for joining us for our late night newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. Our top story tonight, the chief nuclear envoys of South Korea and the United States have been discussing ways to respond to North Korea's provocations. The two countries agreed to toughen sanctions as part of their denuclearization efforts. On its side, North Korea continues to make belligerent threats against the South. Kwani Kim starts us off.
South Korea and the U.S.'s top priority when it comes to North Korean policy will be pressuring Pyongyang to give up its nuclear weapons program. This is what Kim Hong-gyun, Seoul's new special representative for Korean Peninsula Peace and Security Affairs, and his U.S. counterpart Ssang Kim, special representative for North Korea policy, agreed to as they met for the first time since UN sanctions were slapped on Pyongyang last week. The two allies' stance go against China's. Beijing had proposed parallel denuclearization talks and peace treaty talks with North Korea that would officially end the Korean War. Rather, the two sides saw eye to eye on imposing multilateral and unilateral sanctions on the North. South Korea announced its new set of tightened financial and maritime sanctions on North Korea this week, and Washington is expected to release an additional set of unilateral sanctions next week. The two sides will reportedly exchange views on holding five-party nuclear talks, excluding North Korea, as a means to pressure the North. Pyongyang continues to protest against the annual South Korea-U.S. military exercises that are currently ongoing. The North Korean army said it'll respond to Seoul-Washington's drills with an operation attacking the southern part of the peninsula. South Korea's military warned the North to stop its threats, adding it'll destroy the North Korean leadership if it forges ahead with a provocation. Kwani Kim, Arirang News.
Now, a huge South Korea-U.S. joint amphibious landing exercise has been taking place in the southeastern city of Pohang to enhance the allies' interoperability in the case of a crisis. Kim Hyun-bin reports.
A batch of fighter jets takes out obstacles, opening up the coast. Soon after, scores of Korea amphibious assault vehicles rush in, camouflaging themselves with smoke bombs, confusing the enemy. Once on coast, hundreds of South Korean and U.S. Marines rush to secure the premises. Once secured, the Allies are able to safely escort supplies and weaponry on land. This is all part of the annual South Korea-U.S. amphibious landing exercise dubbed Ssang Yong, also known as Double Dragon exercise, that is being held in Korea's southeastern city of Pohang.
We believe that by training together, we grow stronger. And we believe that with strong alliances and partnerships in our area of responsibility, we bring peace and stability to this region. Not only to this region in general, but in particular to the people of the Republic of Korea.
Over 200 military vehicles, including KAAV and heavy artillery, have been dispatched, as well as 70 airborne units consisting of fighter jets and attack helicopters.
Over 17,000 Marines and Navy personnel from Korea and the U.S. are taking part in this year's Ssang Yong exercise, marking the largest of its kind to date. South Korea's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff watched over the drills alongside U.S. Forces Korea Commander General Curtis Scaparrotti and warned North Korea that it will suffer consequences for future provocations.
If North Korea provokes again, it will lead to the collapse of the regime. General Scaparrotti and I will make sure to protect this country.
The Ssang Yong exercise will run through March 18th. Kim Hyun-bin, Arirang News, Pohang.
UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon has met with an elderly Korean victim of Japan's wartime sexual slavery, the first such meeting since he took the UN's top job. Meeting in New York, Ban told 89-year-old Kil Ok-won that he respects her efforts to raise awareness of the atrocities she suffered to make sure that no such thing will ever happen again. During their 30-minute meeting, Ban told the victim that he welcomed a recent landmark deal between Korea and Japan, but not the content of the agreement. Now, an activist also delivered a joint petition of some 30 international human rights organizations in which they expressed regret about Ban's welcoming of the December deal and called for the UN to launch an investigation into the war crime. Now, historians estimate that up to 200,000 women, many from Korea, were forced to work in frontline brothels for Japanese soldiers before and during World War II. An artificial intelligence computer program has beaten Master Go player Lee 3-0 in a best-of-5 competition taking place here in Seoul. EG1 has more.
The third round of Paduk, also known as Go, between Grandmaster Lee of Korea and artificial intelligence supercomputer AlphaGo ended on Saturday with another win for the machine. After 176 moves and over 4 hours of a very close competition, Lee forfeited, realizing that he can no longer win the game. The remaining 2 games will still be held through Tuesday, despite the fact AlphaGo has won the first 3 games. However, the $1 million cash prize and the bragging rights go to AlphaGo and the DeepMind team. Journalists from around the world have come to Seoul to witness this historic match of man versus machine.
Definitely, most French media have been reporting about that. Everybody realizes that it's a big deal, that what happens today will have consequences on the future. That's why everybody, whether you know about Go or not, you have to follow up on that and you have to report and you have to be ready to learn more about artificial intelligence in the future.
As the match is one of the first competitions between an AI system and a top human expert in a field, the world has been shocked to find out that machines can really outsmart the smartest humans.
Half of the people who know Paduk or Go thought Lee was going to win, so they are very shocked with the outcome.
People did not think AlphaGo could win against Lee, but now that it did, they're starting to think that AI has outsmarted humans in Go, as it already did for Japanese chess or shogi last year.
With AlphaGo beating the Grandmaster of Paduk by 3-0 and AI proving its intelligence over humans more and more, people are now wondering what the AI can do next. EG1, Arirang News.
Now, investment in augmented reality and virtual reality hit $1.1 billion in the first 2 months of 2016. It's the first time AR and VR investment has topped $1 billion in any year. This according to Britain-based investment bank DigiCapital. Last year's total investment in AR and VR amounted to $680 million, 40% less than the amount raised in January and February this year. The market is set to continue to grow, with revenue expected to hit $120 billion annually within the next 4 years. An experiment that develops genetically engineered mosquitoes to fight the Zika virus has been given preliminary approval by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. When given the final green light, genetically altered male mosquitoes with a gene that kills animals will be released into the wild near Florida's Key West. Now, the offspring born from the mating will die when they are young, and this minimizes the spread of the virus. Florida state residents are strongly against the trial, but the FDA insists the field's trial is unlikely to be harmful to people, animals, or the environment. A final approval is expected to take months, as the FDA will have to receive and assess comments from the public. Now, Korea's national dress, the hanbok, is admired around the world for its bright, vivid colours and a simple silhouette that frames the body with elegance. The hanbok was the everyday attire in Korea a century ago, but nowadays it's worn only on special occasions. Recently, however, an increasing number of young Koreans are sporting the national costume out on the streets and, of course, sharing their pictures online. Oh Soo-young with more.
It's been said that fashion comes in cycles. And the latest trend in Korea turns the clock back 100 years to the Joseon dynasty. Consisting of a bolero jacket matched with a full-length empire waistskirt for women and a loose pair of trousers for men, the hanbok was worn on a daily basis. But now, as most Koreans dress in conventional Western attire, hanboks are usually reserved for traditional holidays and special occasions such as weddings and first birthdays. In recent months, however, the national costume has made its way back into the modern era. Walking past traditional spots in Seoul, it's become quite common to see young Koreans wearing the national hanbok costume. They pose for selfies in front of pagodas and stroll down quaint cobblestone streets. These picturesque excursions have become a growing trend on social media among the younger generation, mostly high school and university students. And they're shared online under hashtags such as hanbok, hanbokstagram or rented hanbok. The journey starts at a hanbok rental store in central Seoul, where customers can choose from hundreds of vividly coloured pieces. For around $12, an entire outfit can be rented out for 4 hours, complete with a matching clutch and a hairdo for women.
We have up to 150 visitors on busy days. Most of them are young couples and students. Some are foreign tourists.
With the growing appeal, the hanbok is gaining a foothold in contemporary fashion. Up-and-coming designers are producing modern versions of the hanbok, incorporating its quintessential qualities into daily looks.
We've focused on reinterpreting patterns for the traditional hanbok jacket and skirt and have come up with some very contemporary designs. Take the 10 signs of longevity. We turn them into illustrated characters, modern patterns young people would like, and feature them on the clothes using patchwork and denim.
Industry experts say the current hype over the hanbok accounts for only a fraction of its full market potential.
Up to this point in the 21st century, most of the world has leaned towards westernization. But now many people are regaining their interest in traditional culture. The same goes for fashion. We need traditional designs that are unique to our people. If these elements are applied to modern clothing, it could be an opportunity to recreate value-added fashion that can be appreciated globally.
Whether you want to dress up in the classic hanbok costume or try an everyday look, traditional is becoming trendy in Korea. Ssang Yong, Arirang News.
Now finally taking a look at the weather. It's been a touch milder today than in recent days, but most of Korea does remain in the grips of the last throes of winter. Tonight will be another chilly night. The low is going to drop to 2 degrees Celsius in Seoul. Sunday will be bright but fairly cold, with the high reaching 6 degrees Celsius in the Korean capital. With that, let's take a look at the weather around the world. And those are the stories we have for you at this hour. For more of the latest, don't forget to check out the website arirang.com/news. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye.